Hello guys! Have you ever wondered whether the air travel was safe? If you ever thought it was not, this video is about to convince you about the opposite. Sit down comfortably, grab a cool drink, and let's get down to this video. Even though the statement that flying is safe is well known, many people still fear flying and don't see the smallest reason why air travel should not be dangerous. So that's why I'm going to break down 6 facts why aviation really is safe, and why you should not be afraid of hopping on one of these marvelous pieces of engineering or having nightmares about encountering turbulences. Speaking of turbulences, I better explain what turbulence is and what types of turbulences you may encounter. Turbulence is a disruption in the air current that results in shakes. Also known as air pockets, turbulence can cause a sudden loss of altitude temporarily. But you may ask, how can such turbulence create? The beginner-friendly answer to this question is pretty simple. Air that creates the atmosphere is always in motion. Planes use this motion to be able to fly. For a plane to fly stably, airflow passing over and under the wings need to be regular. However, some weather events can cause irregularity in the airflow, and this creates air pockets. This is the reason why turbulence happens. There are other factors causing turbulence, and these factors also name the different turbulence types, such as clear air turbulence, temperature inversion turbulence, mechanical turbulence, etc. In aviation world, you may also hear the term wake turbulence, which is a very strong stream of turbulent airflow caused by an airplane itself. From the basics of aerodynamics, you may know that there is high pressure air below the wing surface and low pressure air above the wing, which, simply speaking, generates the lift. When these two air masses mix together, they generate a strong turbulent current, causing wake turbulence. And that is also the answer to why airplanes have wingtips, to separate the high pressure and low pressure air mass and reduce the strength of the wake turbulence. From this knowledge, you might have already understood that the bigger the airplane is, the stronger the wake turbulence is, which you may understand from knowing that bigger airplanes have bigger wing surface, hence more air mass mixed together, obviously leading to a stronger wake turbulence. If you are interested in more aerodynamics related videos, let me know down in the comment section, and the most liked comment will be chosen for another video. And now, let's get down to 6 facts about why flying is safe. Fact number 1. Turbulence will not destroy your plane. Even though it sometimes feels like the hundreds of thousands of pounds of metal flying at almost 40,000 feet above the ground suddenly drop hundreds of feet, it usually drops just a few feet and then you get back to normal. Still afraid of turbulences, the best thing you can do in the airplane is to really listen to what flight attendants tell you to do. In the case of a turbulence, you should remain seated and fasten your seatbelt. Just stay calm and do not panic, and you'll see it'll be back to normal in a few moments. Fact number 2. Up to 95% of all the plane crashes are survivable. While plane crashes do happen, they're extremely rare. To put it in perspective, you're 95 times more likely to die from unintentional poisoning. The odds are 1 in 103 on this one, than to die in an air or space transport incident, 1 in 9,737, according to the National Safety Council. The statistician Arnold Barnett once claimed, if you take one flight a day, you would on average need to fly every day for 55,000 years before being involved in a fatal crash. A perfect example of this is this recent Boeing 757 cargo jet operated by DHL broke in two after skidding off the runway at one Santa Maria International Airport in Costa Rica. The crew reported hydraulic problems with the 22-year-old aircraft after takeoff and made an emergency landing, according to a statement Friday from DHL. Luckily, no one from the crew was injured during this accident. Fact number 3. The plane doesn't need all its engines to safely keep cruising. Most of the planes you'll ever fly would have 2 engines. Even if something bad happens to the engine, which is very unlikely nowadays because all the engines undergo many tests before they are approved to be put on an airliner. The engines are tested to take immense amounts of water, bird strike tests are simulated, and many other tests too, and the engines show their capabilities and safety. So don't trust this myth that you'll fall off the sky when one of your engines get damaged. You will probably divert, which means that the pilots will do an emergency landing at a nearby airport, which is obviously for passengers' safety. Fact number 4. Pilots are retested every 6 months. What you might not know is that pilots have to be retested every 6 months to prove their competency, and if they don't pass their simulator test, then they are not allowed to fly. I don't know if you have, but I have never seen a bus driver being retested every half a year to keep the public safe in buses. Fact number 5. Oxygen masks really do work. There's an old myth that oxygen masks on planes are not effective, but this is false. When the oxygen pressure in the cabin drops below a certain mark due to a cabin depressurization, bags containing the oxygen masks will fall automatically. It may not seem like there could be enough oxygen to survive, but there is plenty and nothing to be concerned about. Fact number 6. Lightning bolts are not dangerous to a plane either. Planes' fuselages are made of metal. The only exception is the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, whose fuselage is made of composite materials in order to make the plane lighter. And so the engineers working on the Dreamliner project added plenty of thin copper wires into the fuselage in order to make the fuselage conductive as the other planes are. From your physics lessons, you should remember the term Faraday's cage. The proper definition of Faraday's cage sounds: a Faraday cage is used as a protective shield against the electromagnetic radiation coming from the external environment, or it prevents electromagnetic energy radiated from the internal components from escaping the cage. These protective shields are used in different kinds of electronic and electrical equipment. Simply speaking, the conductive materials that planes, cars, etc. are made of don't let the lightning bolt inside, and the electrons get equally distributed around the whole plane's exterior, and nothing worse than a tiny burnt dot will stay on the fuselage. One more thing you should know is that pilots talk on the radio with air traffic controllers, who command the pilots to change the heading in order to avoid flying through thunderstorm clouds, where it is much more likely to encounter strong turbulences, rains, lightning bolts, or hailstorms that can seriously damage the fuselage, which is usually not dangerous for the passengers. However, this can get very expensive for the airline to be fixed, because the airline cannot complete other flights with a damaged fuselage. Such damaged fuselage with tiny dents also makes the plane more fuel inefficient. Do you know why is it so? Show us your knowledge in the comments. I really hope I convinced at least a few of you to stop being afraid of flying, because it's just amazing. And for the frequent flyers here, I really hope you learned something new about aviation. If you have any tips on how to improve my videos, they are all welcome. I genuinely appreciate you watched my video. If you like my content, don't hesitate to like this video and subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next videos. Until the next time, AVI-ON. See ya!